The Commonwealth of Independent States has established as an authoritative regional and integration association. And I think the most important thing is that we managed to preserve this platform, not just for communication, but to create a common market and a common humanitarian space to preserve it. This, in my opinion, is very important for the citizens of our countries. I would like to note this. This is a certain fact. Our trade turnover is improving year after year. Our countries are building a stable financial infrastructure that is independent of external influence. Virtually all mutual settlements are now made in national currencies. Their share in commercial transactions between CIS participants in the first half of 2025 amounted to 96%. This does not mean that we are abandoning the use of other payment instruments and currencies. It simply increases our independence and sovereignty. This is obvious in today's world. Of course, the doors to Eurasia are always open. My colleagues and I are talking about this. In my opinion, this brings economic benefits, opens up more markets, at least creates more conditions for cooperation, and ultimately, this is useful. It is simply beneficial, absolutely. However, today's economic situation is unique. What is our current trade turnover with Armenia?
This year it's $4 billion.
How much?
For billion.
No, it's more.
It's for this year. Last year it was approximately 9 billion.
Last year there were more, and this year there will be more.
It is possible.
It is obvious. Import substitution processes are underway within the CIS. But as we now believe in Russia, I think it is important for all of us not to substitute something, but to be leaders in certain areas. And not just somewhere, but not on the periphery of development, but in key areas. We have such opportunities. That's 100%. But we need to not just be independent, but to lead in certain areas. This is possible, given our intellectual potential, which we inherited from the Soviet Union. Thank God, it is actively developing today as well. Innovation, digitalization, and the comprehensive and rational use of natural resources are important here. Obviously, no one disputes this. An important area of joint work for the Commonwealth states is the fight against terrorism, extremism, terrorism, corruption, and so on. We are doing everything we can to establish this cooperation in a number of areas. Therefore, we fully support the documents being adopted today, namely the Action Program on Counter-Terrorism, the Plan of Joint Measures to Protect External Borders, the updated concept of military cooperation, the Statement on Combating Transnational Crime and Money Laundering. This year, as my colleagues have already mentioned, we greatly celebrated the 80th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War. I would like to thank the leaders of the Commonwealth of Independent States who came to Moscow for the celebrations on May 9th. It is symbolic that on the anniversary of Victory Day, units of the National Armed Forces of the CIS countries marched on Red Square together with the Russian military, for which I would also like to express my special gratitude to you. We are constantly reviewing the situation. This is important, given the events taking place in the world. In this regard, we consider the joint statements on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations, which were submitted today for the Council's approval, to be highly relevant. Our colleagues have also spoken about this. Like many of those present, we support the deepening of contacts between the Commonwealth and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is the aim of the draft decision on granting the SCO observer status. Indeed, it would be useful to fully implement the potential of cooperation between the two organizations to ensure the safe and sustainable development of our countries and the entire Eurasian Sea. we support the fundamental decision to create a new format for the CIS+. This will allow us to more actively involve other states and structures in our organization. If you think it would be appropriate, I would be delighted to welcome you to Russia, as is our tradition in St. Petersburg at the end of this year, on the eve of the new year, for our informal meeting. I have already informed some of my colleagues about the results of the work in Anchorage, Alaska, with the Americans on regulating the situation in Ukraine. We will have an opportunity to meet again in a very small circle, and I would like to inform you in more detail about these results, which we generally assess positively. And of course, our subsequent work on resolving the problem in Ukraine will be based on fundamental principles discussed at Alaska Summit.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.